Hey everybody, it's Katie. Today we are going to talk about the KT Files and what we are all about. We recently hit 400 subscribers. Thank you to you 400 who are interested in what we're doing here at the KT Files. And so we decided today we would talk a little bit about who we are, what our vision is, and what we're all about. You know, like who is this KT and what are the files? And the KT is me and the files are in there, well, some of them. There's also a lot of like baby, blah, blah, blah. I was born in Alaska. I was actually born and raised in Alaska. I lived there until just a few years ago. We moved all around the state. We lived in kind of the middle of the state, which is called the interior. We moved down to the southeast part of Alaska, and then we moved into South Central. And then I moved around with college and stuff like that. So we kind of lived all over the place. My dad's job moved us around a lot. And as a kid, I always was kind of like, I just made my friends and now I'm leaving. And while that was hard, I'm also actually really glad because I got to live in a lot of different places in Alaska, which is amazing because believe it or not, Alaska is not all just one same thing. Like each place we lived had a little bit of a different feel to it and a different culture, and so it was nice to be able to move around. And also as an adult, I see that it's kind of made it easier for me to make friends and be social and that type of thing. I graduated from college while living in Alaska, and after that I did probably one of the most fun jobs I've ever done. I worked as basically a tour guide for a rail company. And so I worked on the railroad going up and down, providing narration for what we were seeing. And I remember the first few weeks that I did that I was just petrified because I had to talk in front of all these people. And to make matters worse, though I knew a lot about Alaska, I didn't know a lot about that specific area we were in, so I was learning on the fly, and it was so awkward. But I remember at the end of the first summer, boy howdy, I had lots to say, and I felt a lot more comfortable with public speaking, and it's kind of been actually a little bit like that with the KT Files too. The first few videos we did, it was kind of my dad was constantly reminding me not to, say and so and eye contact. After I graduated and after I worked for this tour company, I settled in with a more adult, long-term job working for the railroad in Alaska and loved that job. Wore a couple different hats with that company, and I absolutely loved it. I worked with the railroad up until the birth of my first daughter. When our oldest daughter was about a year old, we packed up. My whole family, actually my parents were already living in Northern California, but they came home for the summer. My husband and I and the baby all decided that we would move together, so we got a big, huge moving van and crammed all of our stuff in it. So we moved to Northern California in 2013. I met my husband in 2004 in Alaska. He was a transplant. He actually moved to Alaska when he was 16 from a different state. He loves Alaska. We actually both love Alaska, but at the time that we moved, we had kind of decided that we were ready for a change of pace from the winters, because the winters can last a long time there. Even though you just kind of roll with it, we decided that trading shoveling snow for rain would actually feel like kind of a winning situation. But we met in 2004. So we've been together for about 14 years, and we've been married for almost 10. He is a heavy equipment operator by trade, although he's got a lot of skills. I'm consistently impressed with the things that he knows how to do, but the job that he does currently is he's a heavy equipment operator, and he works for the county that we live in. We have 2 daughters. We have a 6-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter. And that is done. We are 2 and through. No more kiddos. But we have 2 girls, so my husband will definitely have his work cut out for him with all these ladies in his life. He keeps telling me he's going to bring home a male puppy or 3 just to kind of even it out a little bit. So we'll see about all that. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we moved with my parents when we came in 2013. So we have all been here for about 5 years, but recently my brother, who was still living in Alaska up until just last year, decided that he would move here too. So now my whole original family is living here, And it's been really great for our kiddos to have their uncle and their grandparents. So it's really easy for us to get together, and built-in babysitting, which is awesome. But it's easy for us to get together and have lunch and dinners and just kind of do life together, which has been really fantastic for my husband and I, but also for our kids to have that built-in family so close. I wanted to share just a few quick little things about what makes me tick and about what makes me happy and what I enjoy to do in my free time for anyone who might be curious. I obviously, first and foremost, I love being a wife and a mom. I feel like that's probably my greatest honor right now, is to be able to have that. And I get to stay home with my girls, which is probably one of the most exasperating things that I have ever had to deal with in my entire life. I mean, bad bosses, like you name it, it's just so frustrating. But when I think about what a tremendous honor it is and what a blessing it is to get to see my girls every single day and have that privilege, even for all the exasperation in the world, I wouldn't trade it. So first and foremost, as cliche as it sounds, it really is how I feel. Being a wife and a mom is really, really important to me. I would also have to say that I am a Jesus lover. I follow the Lord as best I can, and I don't know where I would be without his presence in my life. I have an amazing tribe of friends here, and also I have a few in Alaska and a few in other parts of the state and that type of thing, and I really value the good, close relationships that I have. It talks about in the Bible that iron sharpens iron, and I really feel like the tribe that I have in my life is that for me, so I'm so grateful for that. I love having sushi with my husband. I am not super brave, so if you ask me about all the types of sushi I've tried, you'll probably be very underwhelmed with my ability to be very daring. Started a project earlier this year where I was out working on making charcuterie boards, which are just basically long serving boards. They kind of look like a wooden cutting board, but these ones have a live edge on the side, and so sanding them down and making them just smooth as butter, and that was a lot of fun. I didn't really think that I would enjoy it as much as I did. Believe it or not, I like raking and like yard work and, you know, beautifying around my house. I love being out and doing little projects like that. I'm scared of splinters, so I haven't built anything because splinters are horrible. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the fact, born and raised Alaskan, living in Northern California, I like guns. My oldest daughter actually likes shooting them, so I'm looking forward to some mother-daughter shooting dates. I was asked the question, why the KT Files? Well, outside of the name, which I explained, KT Files, outside of that, why are we doing what we're doing? My family, my parents, my extended family, we're passionate about family and about relationships and about building strong connections within our families, because we feel like strong families and those strong ties also help to build a strong community. If we are willing to put in the time and the effort into having the strongest and closest family connections as possible, I really think that our children will be better served for it as they get older and as they grow into adulthood. We're also really passionate about coming alongside other families who maybe are just starting this journey, because, let's be honest, no family journey is perfect, and we've certainly had our share of bumps and mess-ups and falling completely off the cliff, and just being grateful that we had those in our lives that came alongside us and kind of helped us get on track and work towards becoming the family that we really want to be. So if we do videos or if we do things that can help you and your family in any way, that gives us joy, because having a strong, loving, committed family, I think, is probably, at least to me, as I said, it's probably one of my biggest joys in my life. The last thing I want to talk about is how we do the KT Files and what that looks like for us. The first thing I'm going to tell you is it's not fancy at all. In fact, I think you will be surprised at how awesomely not fancy we are. It works great, but it's not fancy. First of all, the videos and the time of day. So now that we have the two kiddos, the oldest one is usually at school, because, let's be honest, telling a 6-year-old to be quiet is usually like trying to tell like a bull in a china shop to be quiet. She's like, okay, hee hee, tinkle tinkle, crash crash. That's what it kind of looks like. She's actually here today, and it's about like that, just behind closed doors. So fortunately, she's usually at school when we do our video, and then my youngest daughter, the 2-year-old, is napping, because otherwise the the cameras would be getting tipped over and you'd be seeing like little photo bomber and that type of thing. It's just easier right now to do it while she's sleeping because of the wires and all that stuff. And that's also why I'm usually here and we're indoors, is because she is just right on the other side of the wall there having a nap. All right, here's the fancy part. We usually shoot with a couple of iPhones. We have a microphone, some tripods, and we also have a really fancy lighting system which consists of about 3 construction lamps, and then we have these really great little clothespins where we put paper towels over our construction lighting. It kind of like, it helps with my hue, right? It softens me up a little bit. So we've experimented, and I think our very first video, if you went back to find it, I'm pretty sure it sounds like my head is in a tin can, because I don't even know if I had a mic or lights. So at least you can't see the bags from lack of sleep from a 2-year-old with these fancy lights. Now here's where the magic comes in, and that would be my dad, who's actually sitting behind his iPhone smiling at me right now. The fancy part is so he comes in and he does all the editing, which is actually, I think, probably one of the biggest parts of it, because I don't know how to do that. I know how to talk. Obviously, I worked for a tour company. I don't know how to edit. So he does the video editing. My mom is our graphic artist, and she does thumbnails that we have that we put on YouTube. And then the last piece to the puzzle in our production team is my brother, who is a computer guru. So if we have any high-tech issues, we say, please help, please save us. We don't know what to do. And then he just kind of, wiggles his finger, and the computer's like, got it. So that is my production team, my dad, my mom, my brother, and then I'm the talking head. That's our little crew right there. So my friends, that is kind of a quick little blurb. Actually, I don't know how quick that was. I talk. That was a blurb about me and about the KT Files and about what it looks like around here when we do our videos. Also, just want to say thank you. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and thank you for being a subscriber if you are a subscriber. If you're not and you want to join in on our journey, there's a subscribe button that my dad will drop in here somewhere that you can click on. That way you can get notifications about our videos. We put out videos once a week, and we talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about family, babies, budgeting, discipline. We talk about a lot of different things, and most of it has to do with what we're experiencing or what I'm experiencing as a mom, and how I'm, the resources that I've found to kind of help walk through whatever it is at that moment. But thanks so much for being a part of this journey. It's humbling to see that there are people who are interested, and it makes me proud of my little family, and grateful that we get to share the things that we've learned, and also grateful that we get to interact with people in our YouTube community. I love it when people leave comments and when they have things to say, good or bad, because I feel like that's how we learn, is from one another. And I don't know it all. I certainly don't at all. I'm fortunate to have great people in my life who share their wisdom. And so thanks for being a part of it. We hope you guys have a great day. Oh, we're on Facebook. If you guys are on Facebook and you want to check us out there, please do. We'd love to have you interact with us there as well. And that's about it. Hope you guys are doing really well, and we'll see you again next time, hopefully next week. Bye.